In a class, the number of boys to girls can be represented by the ratio 3 to 5. Use the ratio to create a table with 3 equivalent ratios. Since we want to create a table with 3 equivalent ratios, let's begin by first setting up that table. We know the number of boys to girls can be represented by the ratio 3 to 5. Since boys comes first, let's write boys first. And girls come second, so let's write girls second. We know this can be represented by the ratio 3 to 5. 3 comes first, so we write 3 first. 5 comes second, so we write 5 second. And we need 3 equivalent ratios to this ratio. Well, if we want equivalent ratios, it might be helpful to know what equivalent ratios are. Recall, equivalent ratios are ratios that have the same value. That means all of the ratios in our table should have the same value. So how do we find an equivalent ratio? Well, to find an equivalent ratio, it might be helpful to see this ratio in fraction form. If we write this ratio in fraction form, we have 3 over 5, the ratio of boys to girls. Now, if we wanted to write an equivalent fraction to the fraction 3 over 5, we could multiply both the numerator and denominator by the same number. Well, the same is true for the ratio. We can multiply both the numerator and denominator by the same number, and we'll get an equivalent ratio. So let's go ahead and do that. We can multiply by anything, so let's make it easy. Let's multiply both by 2. If we multiply both by 2, we're multiplying by 2 over 2. And notice, 2 divided by 2 is just equal to 1, so we're multiplying by a fancy form of 1. If we multiply both 3 and 5 by 2, 3 times 2 is equal to 6. 5 times 2 is equal to 10. So we get the ratio 6 to 10. That means 6 to 10 is an equivalent ratio to 3 to 5. So we can write 6 to 10. That means in this class, if there were 6 boys, there would be 10 girls. We need another equivalent ratio, though. Well, to get another equivalent ratio, we said we could multiply by anything as long as we multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, or both parts of our ratio by the same number. So let's go ahead and multiply both parts of our ratio by 3 this time. If we multiply both parts by 3, well, we multiply 3 by 3 and 5 by 3. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 5 times 3 is equal to 15. So we get the ratio 9 to 15. This is another equivalent ratio to the ratio 3 to 5. So we have another equivalent ratio. This tells us in the class if there were 9 boys, there would be 15 girls. Now we want one more equivalent ratio. Again, we can multiply by anything we want as long as we multiply both numbers by the same number. So let's go ahead and multiply both 3 and 5 by 4 this time. If we multiply by 4, we'll get another equivalent ratio. So we have the ratio 3 to 5, and we're multiplying both parts by 4. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So we get the ratio 12 to 20. So we can write 12 to 20. And 12 to 20 is equivalent to the ratio 3 to 5. So now we've made a table with 3 different equivalent ratios.